Real quick, before we get started, I want to make something extremely clear. I have nothing but the utmost respect for the creators of this comic. My life would be very different without Batman the Animated Series, and so would yours probably. It doesn't really matter if the sky is different colors in different moments. It doesn't really matter if Lex Luthor's plane flies slower than dirt. It doesn't really matter if the Batarangs have too many spikes. Seriously, it's okay. There can be a yellow batsuit in the background of Starcross. Okay, I draw the line at that one. I say all this because you should know that this comic and this universe is pretty dang awesome. It's brought immense joy to all of us here on the channel for basically our entire lives. So when we appear to be shitting all over it, it's only because we're being nitpicky as hell, and that's what we do here, and welcome to the Watchtower Database. So now, with that all out of the way, what did you do? You can't just go back and change Jason's hair color. He didn't have the white streak and now he does. You maniacs! Welcome back, everyone, to our continued coverage of the continued adventures of Batman. As always, I'll be going through the new issue using page numbers from Comixology if you'd like to follow along. And if you'd like to catch up, we've also got deep dive reviews of issues 1 and 2 at the links in the pretty little box that just appeared in the top right corner of the video. We'll be digging into nearly every pixel of this thing, so strap into your Return of the Joker censored cut seatbelts and stick around through the end because we've got quite the jaw-dropper of a Jason Todd related theory that you're either going to love or call us idiots for in the comments. Either way, commenting feeds the Sarah Stone enhanced bulldog that is the algorithm beast, so I'm not gonna complain. Okay, page 3, the first actual page of the comic. We start off with more blatant looks at Jason Todd here, scurrying about Gotham's streets while Clayface fights the Bat family just off panel. Jason is colored consistently like his action figure now, aside from a couple potential goofs on page 15. I chatted with the colorist Monica Kubina about how she'd actually gone back and changed Jason's colors in the first 2 issues to better match his figure, which now has me wondering if there's a version of this issue with the original red hair and darker jacket. Monica, did you go back and fix this issue too, or was it already fixed? It's a pretty impressive turnaround, milady. I tip my non-existent fedora. Who am I kidding? I own several fedoras. Jason speaks of a sequel, or perhaps more accurately, a reboot, possibly referring to many things. 1, the movie scene advertised on the next page is Gangbuster: The Legend Continues, seemingly a follow-up to the Gangbuster film we saw hints of in the animated series episode Feet of Clay, a former role of Matt Hagen who would become Clayface. 2, if Jason indeed was a Robin, he could be aiming these statements toward Tim Drake, his own personal sequel/reboot. And 3, perhaps subtly referencing the comic itself. The legend continues, the adventures continue. Is this comic a sequel to the new Batman adventures? Or will enough continuity have been altered by the end of this thing to consider it a reboot? I'm guessing and hoping no to that last one, but it could open the door to multiversal concepts that could allow characters like the Batman Who Laughs or Thomas Wayne Batman to more easily slip into the story. I'm just gonna keep throwing out ways to bring in those guys that doesn't involve, like, literally the dark multiverse or Flashpoint happening, but I guess we'll find out. A few fun Easter eggs in these opening pages too. Jason grabs a ladder and climbs around a fire escape, much like Tim Drake did in the opening of Sins of the Father, during perhaps his most Jason-like on-screen escapades prior to becoming the second Robin, or the third. Who can keep it all straight? And on page 4, we get a good look at the Uptown Theater, curiously in downtown Gotham, which, as far as I can tell, first appeared in the original Batman Adventures issue number 33, where Bruce took a date to a Grey Ghost film festival. That issue was written by Ty Templeton, artist for this new comic. And Jason hiding behind the theater's marquee is sort of similar to Terry McGinnis doing the same at the Majestic Theater in Batman Beyond's Eyewitness, though Jason seems to be doing a bit better job of hiding. We get a new design for Clayface, much more demonic and spiky than his usual chunky boy look from the cartoon. Later, we find out he was given a serum that secretly increased his paranoia and savagery, so his appearance likely just matches his extra spiciness. I guess it's worn off by the time he gets shoved into Morgan Edge cans for Justice League Secret Society, though. On the marquee, we also see the new Gangbuster movie is starring Charlie T. Smith. Maybe this is a completely made-up name, but if it does represent somebody real, the only matches we could find were this Charles Smith, an actor who died in 1988, known for roles in various movies throughout the 40s through 60s. Did Alan Burnett know this guy? Sorry, Alan, I don't mean to call you old. You are kind of old. And California Highway Patrol Officer Charles T. Smith, who stopped a vehicle for speeding that happened to be driven by two AWOL Marines who had stolen the car and then shot Smith 3 times in the back before Smith managed to struggle to his feet and kill both suspects and then die. Holy crap, this guy was a badass. A gangbuster indeed. The CH at the start of his name is also missing on the front of the marquee, so either the letters fell off, or there's actually 2 versions of the film playing. One starring Charlie T. Smith, and the other starring his evil twin brother, Arlie T. Smith. There's also a woman in the background who could conceivably be wearing a hijab. Is this the first instance of Muslim representation in the DCAU? You know, since Young Justice ain't part of this universe. It's far from actual representation, but it's still pretty cool to see. On page 5, we've got more Jason used to be Robin hints with his forgotten and replaced dialogue. Did he die as Robin, or was he just using the buddy system? Page 6, we get better looks at Batgirl and Robin with some nice subtle updates to their character designs. It's kinda similar to what Ted and I did for our Legacies webcomic. Shameless plug time, go read that at the link in the description. Adding more highlights to their costumes and vaguely aging them up. Ty even talked in an interview before the comic came out about how he purposely is drawing Tim a little taller and a little thinner to look about a year older than he did in the new Batman adventures, despite also referring to him as still a very young Robin. Which of course, as any good Watchtower Database will tell you, is pretty funny considering my boy still looks like a 3-foot-tall man baby in Return of the Joker flashback. But this isn't the first time this approach has been taken, with Tim's appearances in both Static Shock's The Big Leagues and the Mystery of the Batwoman movie taking the time to make a point of him being a little bit older.
I cannot believe I'm shaking hands with Robin, the boy wonder.
Ow. Let's skip the boy wonder stuff, huh? I'm getting kinda old for it.
No Nightwing yet. Where is that guy? But I just can't wait to see what they've done to his hair this time. Also, I like how Batgirl feels the need to tell Batman that Clayface is dangerous. I think he figured that out a while ago, but thanks. On page 7, we get the return of Annie from Growing Pains. Well, not really. It's just Clayface being a real muckface. But it's cool enough to include her on the cover. Also, muckface? Really? Getting a little racy there, Timmy. Try Mudbutt next time. It worked for the Turtles. Annie's appearance does at least mean this is after Growing Pains. So in terms of the timeline of this comic series, and what we know about it possibly lining up at the Superman episode Nighttime, it's not yet clear to us Data Boys which episode comes before the other. We're working on it. Is this the first time Tim has fought Clayface since Growing Pains? Or is it just the first time Clayface has used the Annie fake out? He is extra spicy right now. Clayface appeared in multiple issues of the Gotham Adventures tie-in comic, but the closest Robin interaction we got was Tim just mentioning the guy in a possible villain lineup. Clayface was also a boss battle in the Rise of Sinzu video game, but that was only a Robin interaction if you played as Robin. Which you probably didn't. Maybe we should do a Clayface timeline video when this comic is all over. And a Brainiac timeline video and a Zeta. Can Clayface move after being frozen? That seems odd. Well, now this whole comic isn't canon. I guess I'm done talking about it. Ow.
4 thrilling adventures. 4 awesome videos. The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Hi. Do you consider yourself someone with direction? Someone who knows what they want in life? Me neither. Hi. Do you wake up every morning feeling groggy, sluggish, unprepared for the day ahead? That used to be me, but not anymore. I knew I needed a pick-me-up to jumpstart my body and get the creative juices flowing. That's why I invented Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a sort of dirt that you put in your mouth and then everything is good. But this isn't a product I'm keeping all to myself. No. Starting today, I'm sharing Ko-fi with the world, and you can get a bag for yourself at the link in the description below this video. I'm calling this particular line 12th level because when you drink it, you truly advance to a higher intellect.
You will buy 12th level Ko-fi and become one with the source.
The 12th level Ko-fi comes in several different varieties of either grounds or beans, in blends such as breakfast, medium, and French roast, plus 2 organic blends of dark chocolate or salted caramel. Find all these and more at the link below and use coupon code INTELLECT at checkout for 10% off your order. You don't have to thank me for this remarkable, unbeatable achievement. You just have to buy it. You have to buy it right now.
I will assimilate all this world's knowledge and then destroy it.
Grab a bag of 12th level premium Ko-fi, an easy and affordable way to help support the Watchtower Database. Corey Burton vocoder sold separately.
Buy Batman Volume 4 on DVD.
Oh, there's many more pages left? Alright, if I have to. On page 8, we get more domino mask-shaped shadows across Jason's face, like we did in number 1. Obviously, we know now that he's not wearing a domino mask after all, but I'm gonna keep assuming these are Robin-related red herrings. We'll get back to theorizing on that a bit later. This is the second issue in a row, if you count the first 2 issues as number 1, where a Bat-Baddie is taken down using a sedative. First Batman knocking out Bane, and now Slade making Clayface go sleepy by. Oh, did I not mention? This is the very first time that Slade, or Deathstroke, has appeared in the DC animated universe. Ever. No, the Teen Titans cartoon doesn't count. How many times do I have to tell you that? And the coolest part? They don't even make a huge deal out of it. His entrance feels just like any other new villain we got in TNBA. Or even kind of like when we got the Cavalier in Batman Adventures Volume 2. But maybe that's just the orange boots, sword, bandana, and Ty Templeton-iness. By page 10, we see Batman is familiar with Slade's work, but doesn't necessarily think of him as a villain yet. The dude has white eyes here, instead of red like we've seen on his action figure. But it makes sense since red eyes usually equal bad guy, and Deathstroke doesn't seem to want to play that card until later. Slade then makes his exit via a Farmer Brown van? Critters.
Howdy.
We find out later that Deathstroke's protege, Sonny, a new character created for this comic, was driving the van. But what do Slade and co have to do with Farmer Brown? Since we see Roxy Rocket soon after in this issue, this could potentially just be a reference to the Farmer Brown truck we saw in her debut episode, The Ultimate Thrill, which was full of chickens. But this one says fresh produce on it. And Farmer Brown got 10 to 20 years in prison. He shouldn't be out yet. Who's running his company? Who turned it into a fruits and vegetables operation? Was Slade driving the chicken truck like the Punisher was driving the Penske truck in Winter Soldier? Is this Slade? What is going on?
That's a lot of bull.
You know, it'd be fun to see this animated, well, for many reasons. Because if they kept Slade's voice actor from Teen Titans, then Ron Perlman would be pulling double duty with Deathstroke and Clayface in this scene. Ron Perlman was even in the Punisher Dirty Laundry fan film. Ron Perlman, Punisher, truck driver, there's something there. They should do a Slade, Clayface, Jaxer, Orion team up in something. They can fight Hellboy? I don't know. It's also kind of funny to see Robin's infatuation with Slade's coolness factor. I know it's not the same Robin as Teen Titans, but kind of a funny parallel.
Who is Slade?
On the next page, these assholes didn't let us see what's written on Deathstroke's papers, and another fun parallel with Teen Titans where we just immediately get to see his real face. Something that cartoon kept secret for the entire series for some reason. Robin's gonna be mad when he finds out Slade's real identity is Slade.
From this moment forth, I will be known as Homer J. Simpson!
The Commissioner Gordon panel at the top of page 12 was actually redrawn after Ty Templeton's cat spilled Kool-Aid on it. Batgirl fights Roxy Rocket at 11:43 p.m. confirmed Eastern time. Though we already knew that. If only they'd give us Metropolis's time zone, eh? But what about these here stocks? We've got Redwood Trust, a real estate investment company, Vortiv Ltd, a cybersecurity and cloud services company, and for whatever reason, XSD stands for SPDR S&P Semiconductor, part of State Street Global Advisors. If you'd like to know more, please Google them because I have no idea what any of this means. WWS isn't a real one, though WWSG, WWSAX, and WWSCX are all part of Westwood Holding Group. Maybe WWS and the DCAU has something to do with Wayne Enterprises? Something ending in FP over here. Perhaps Foxteca, like we saw in Batman Beyond, though that was founded by Lucius Fox Jr. many years after this. And another ending in OP over here. Maybe LexCorp? Nah, Luthor would totally name it LEX. And please don't ask me to compare any of these to what their real numbers were in the late 90s. You can also Google that. Soda Cola appears on a billboard, a fictional soda brand that's in tons of DC Comics stuff, but memorably in the animated universe in The Last Son of Krypton, Livewire, Question Authority, and worth mentioning it's in the Gods and Monsters Harley Quinn short. Batgirl's also taking a selfie with a smartphone, which I would normally be mad about because of Batman Beyond technology inconsistencies, but Batman did use a smartphone in Paul Dini's Harley Loves Joker and the Batman and Harley Quinn movie, so even if you incorrectly don't count those as canon, it's canon now.
So I suggest you get over it.
Which I guess is to say this comic is absolutely canon, which we don't know for sure yet. But if it's made by the same people who made Batman the Animated Series, you'd think it was at least intended to be. And that's the best starting point, yeah? Oh, and thanks Batgirl for letting us know Try and Find Me Avenue exists in DCAU Gotham. That will be very helpful when crafting a map of the city later. The TV is also curiously not in black and white, like how we saw almost every TV in BTAS. But the new Batman Adventures kind of went back and forth on that, so whatever. And Summer Gleason is broadcasting from GCN, a news network that's notably appeared in the Dark Knight movie and the Arkham City game, which fans have noted could stand for Gotham Cable Network, Gotham City Network, or just plain Gotham City News. All of which are strangely not the WGOB Gotham Insider program that Summer Gleason regularly appeared on in the cartoon. It's also not GNN, Gotham News Network, that we saw in Justice League vs. the Fatal Five. How many news stations does Gotham City have? Page 13, we find out Roxy Rocket's rocket can go way faster than Lex Luthor's plane, and this is the same motorcycle that Batman kicked into a giant fan in Mask of the Phantasm. Is that why it's called Phantasm? Though we've seen that bat cycle in many other BTAS episodes too. Continuing the usage of random BTAS assets in the TNBA world. Oh, Ty, you devil you. On the next page, very hush hush feels like a pretty deliberate Hush reference, especially since that same phrase was used in the recent Batman Hush movie. But we'll get to that in a bit, just be patient. Jeez. And is this sexual tension between Batgirl and Deathstroke? I guess she has a type. I wouldn't get too close though, Barbara. Slade's got a pretty uncomfortable past with younger women. Oh no. Sonny! No, Sonny, no! Page 15, Jason says, damn, which I think is the first real cussing we've gotten in the DCAU, besides a handful of close but no cigar instances like,
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm ready to kick some serious...
You're gonna have to wait on that.
Or,
Nice S.
among others. Oh, wait, nope.
Could've just killed him, dummy. You shouldn't be. Now wait just a god minute. Your plan is totally batch bonkers. Well, that was a big bucket of nothing.
I miss Martian Jack.
Fart nuggets.
What is this photo or painting on the wall of Wayne Manor? Is it a woman in an airplane? Amelia Earhart? Why would Bruce Wayne or his parents or Alfred have a picture of Amelia Earhart? Is it a photo of Andrea Beaumont in her car? When did Bruce take this? Why is it still on his wall? Don't put too much stock in his compliments. Which stocks would those be, Brucey? Redwood Trust or SPD or S&P Semiconductor?
Stocks.
Tim Drake looks great here, very on model and sharp. GG, TT. But watch out, Bruce, there's an Icthul 2 slug monster crawling out of your coffee mug. This angle of Slade and Sonny's hideout may be from, I guess, this point of view. We've seen this bridge a number of times in BTAS stuff, like in the Killer Croc Judge fight in Judgment Day. Sonny herself kind of continues Paul Dini's tradition, because he's done it once before, of creating a new henchwoman for an already established Bat villain. And are these mannequins? I thought so at first because they seem to be unmoving, but that would be pretty pointless practice for Slade, an unstoppable ninja mercenary. It even looks like one of them is about to get the drop on Slade before Sonny shoots it through the head, unless Slade positioned it that way? What is this weird mannequin roleplay? But its arm and pistol are in a different position in the next panel, and it seems to have a facial expression that reads, I did not expect to be shot through the head, friends. So are these like training robots? Like the ones Bruce uses with Terry in Batman Beyond? They do appear to be smoking and have articulated joints in their hands. Okay, precursors to Zeta, canon. We get what I think is the first in-universe use of the term Bat Family here, followed by a view of all of Slade's guns. Now, unless it's from like Halo, I probably know gun names even less than I know the stock exchange. But thankfully, Ted has a pal, who I've coincidentally played Halo with, who at least could tell us that due to Slade's historically Vietnam-infused past, the pistol he holsters at his side is likely an M1911, the standard issue sidearm for the United States Armed Forces from 1911 to 1986. On the rack behind Sonny, we're probably looking at an HK Mark 23 pistol and a Colt Python revolver, with the rest of his rifles and shotguns being too obscured or far away to really get a good read on. But hey, that gun stuff could all be wrong anyway. This is a fictional superhero universe where you can have an orange sword after all, which Slade throws directly into a mid-90s Warner Brothers studio store Batman bust? What the hell, man? Those things are like $200 these days. They had one in the comic shop in the town I went to college in and they wouldn't sell it to me. Respect the bust, Slade. And finally, the moment you may have forgotten was coming, our little Jason theory.
The Batman Superman Adventures, this weekend on Kids WB. Now back to the new Batman Superman Adventures on Kids WB.
Throughout the issue, we get a handful of references to Jason's past that add on to what we've already heard from him in the last couple issues. There's the sequel reboot spiel, the forgotten and replaced line, and if you want to take this as any sort of convoluted tease, Sean Gordon Murphy drew the cover. He's the artist for the White Knight comics, a continuity in which Jason was actually Robin before Dick. Batgirl also refers to the mysterious figure she and Slade saw as a ghost, which could potentially be foreshadowing a reveal of Jason's past death. So lots of hints toward Jason Todd's Todd's backstory. But, and I know this is some question level the Girl Scouts are responsible for crop circles stuff, Jason uses the term unravel when talking about his spooky upcoming plans. Coupled with Slade's hush hush line, could this be hints that the character we've been assuming is Jason Todd is actually Hush? We know there's a Hush action figure in the Adventures Continue toy line, and it seems this comic is attempting to incorporate all those new characters, big or small. Jason and Hush do have similar jacket-y outfits, and we've yet to see Jason don the Red Hood helmet in this comic. Now, I hear you saying, guys, come on, Hush and Jason are separate action figures, so they've gotta be separate characters. But the Dark Knight Returns armor figure had an old Bruce inside, and that certainly wasn't the case in the comic. There's precedence for the figure lore to not have to match the comic lore. It could be that either this is Hush, and whatever his real identity is looks like this, or he's someone else disguising himself, aka Jason Todd never existed in this universe, which would make Bruce look much less for taking in Tim as another Robin if the last one hadn't just died. But there are a lot of things pointing to Jason actually being Jason. The Crime Alley origin, the Robin reboot talk, the fact that it's way easier and much less convoluted to just make Jason Jason and not an entirely different character. But Exhibit B, in the Batman Hush comic, Jason was used as a fake out for the identity of Hush, revealed later to have been Clayface in disguise, swapping out with Jason partway through the fight. It's a whole thing, but it involved Jason and Clayface, so... There's also the possibility that, and hear me out here, Batman was replaced by somebody in this comic. As in, by the end of the issue, that's not the real Bruce Wayne. I mean, look at his face. What is happening here? It's very similar to what we see of Jason, or maybe not Jason's face in this style, complete with semi-lack of eyebrows. Could this be Hush disguised as Bruce? Or maybe Clayface disguised as Bruce? Let me back up for a sec to explain. When the now in universe canon Bat family is fighting Clayface, he splits in half, yeah? One half runs around the corner for Batgirl and Robin to follow. The other half stays behind to fight Batman. We get 3 whole pages where we don't see Batman at all, during which time Slade drops down from the rooftops and helps defeat this half of Clayface. When Batman returns, who's to say we didn't get a Clayface switcheroo like what happened with John Jones in Justice League? Perhaps Hush is orchestrating plans that involve Clayface replacing Batman, and this Clayface that he's got slung over his shoulder is just another piece of himself. This is emphasized by Clayface appearing to know who Slade is, as if this isn't part of the plan. Or this Clayface popsicle is Clayface. Clayface has nothing to do with this, and Hush and Slade are in cahoots, with Slade sedating Batman off panel before helping Robin and Batgirl. Then Batman is replaced by Hush. This goes right along with Slade being said to have plans for Batman in this issue's description on Comixology, linking with his Hush Hush line. But this only works if Jason and Hush are indeed separate characters, as Jason doesn't appear to recognize Slade and vice versa, meaning Bruce's weird face here is a secret Hush reveal, a la demons in Supernatural flashing their eyes black for no reason other than to tell the audience they're demons, or like the end of the Thriller music video. I probably could have used that as a more accessible example, but I didn't, so deal with it. Whoever may have replaced Batman, if the real deal is indeed gone, it may open the door for Azrael to come in and try to take his place. The big problem with any of this is that there's a scene right after this supposed Batman swap out where Batman is talking with Commissioner Gordon in the police station. Why would Batman do this unless he was actually Batman? Maybe Clayface or Hush is really trying to play the part here. Clayface was an actor. Ty Templeton posted on Instagram a little while back that he was molding a Two-Face sculpt to help him draw the guy, presumably for this comic. Could Two-Face be Hush? Longtime friends with Bruce, messed up face that's been worked on a time or two, multiple personalities. But nah, if he was Hush, his credit card would say so. All of this may be
a lot of bull.
Ted didn't even want me to spend this long talking about it. Ty Templeton may have just drawn Bruce's face a little oddly in this panel, but Stranger Superman have popped out of robots, so... Overall, this was a much more exciting issue to me than number 2. From beginning to end, it really felt like a lost episode of the new Batman adventures. Maybe it's the inclusion of Robin and Batgirl, maybe it's because Slade's appearance felt much less forced than the DKR armor. I can't quite tell you. This one didn't have me worrying over continuity like with Brainiac or Lex's battlesuit or any of that. It was really fun. Slade seems to blend very well with this world, thanks to the OG BTAS crew being responsible, and it's a cool way to introduce him by sort of weaving him into Jason's story a bit. But what do we think he'll be up to next? Next issue's description teases a Robin Deathstroke team-up and the return of Firefly, which all sounds awesome. We also know from preview inks that we'll probably get the Mad Hatter and the Wonderland gang, as well as bees!
No, not the bees! Not the bees!
Will we see Batgirl v Sunny Dawn of Justice? What was your favorite part of this issue? Leave your thoughts down under in the Australia box. I know that's Maddie's thing, but it helps keep telling the YouTube robots to show our videos to Australia, so bugger off. Thank you so very much to all of our Patreon supporters, including our top patrons:
Darkboat 1792, Daniel Sham, Robert Sterling, Cameo Shadowless, Luke Mears, and Richard 112.
We love you all to the far side of the moon and back. If you're already a patron, stay tuned for some updates on perks coming soon. And if you're not, head on over to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower to check out all the cool exclusive stuff we've got going on. Custom art, monthly hangouts, voting for new videos. And hey, if you don't have a few bucks to throw our way, don't worry about it. You can still click subscribe below for free and hit that notification bell so you always know when we put out new videos. That's also free. So is the like button, the comment section, the watching all the way through to the end of every video for maximum ad revenue. Also, we're now streaming multiple times a week on Twitch. Currently, Maddie and I are reading and analyzing excerpts from the Batman Rise of Sinzu novelization and the Justice League Adventures comic, respectively. It's a lot of fun. We do weird voices. We take timeline and canonicity notes. Come on down. Stop on by. Hop a carpet and fly. You can check out the schedule for our streams at twitch.tv/DCAU Watchtower. Maybe Robin will encounter Clayface in the Sinzu book. I guess you'll just have to watch and find out. Okay, that's it. Stay tuned for more coverage like this of every Batman The Adventures Continue issue, and we'll see you next Sunday when we break down every world's finest team up of Batman and Superman in the DCAU.
It's a doozy.